a retro gamer and hobbyist artist with a lot of nerve. Crolister, the master of ponage. Hi guys, Crolister here with the second part of my Pokemon Fire Red version Let's Play, where we will be playing up to Cerulean City. In the previous episode, we played up to completing the Pewter City gym. So, I did a little bit of grinding off camera as well, so I could level up my Mankey and a Pikachu that I caught after I finalized that video. After you beat the gym, the roadblock will be gone, and you'll encounter this assistant of Professor Oak that'll give you a useful key item. The running shoes give you the ability to run faster while holding B. While it's always good to move faster while you're in like a town or city, I'm not exactly sure, it just feels to me like it increases the chance of getting a random encounter. Just to show you, I got everyone up to level 15 among 4 Pokemon that I'll be fighting with. And I'm swapping to Pidgey because we got a bug catcher right here. I will not be skipping any trainer battles. I am going to do all of them that we encounter in an episode, including the ones that can be avoided. I will not record wild Pokemon battles, because I'm pretty sure nobody wants to see grinding in an episode. Any leveling grinding I do will be done off recording. I'll even do a little bit before I record the next episode, just so I can stay balanced with my teammates. Pushovers, a lot of you. Pidgey on Pidgey, I guess. It's gonna be a long road ahead to grind Pikachu's level up until it finally learns Thunderbolt, which I need to do before the gym. I did it regardless. The iconic I Like Shorts guy. And he has my name. What do you know? This is definitely not going to be an enjoyable battle, since he has a Rattata with Quick Attack, and an Ekans with Intimidate. He even had the nerve to land a crit on me. Like I said in the previous episode, I hate critical hits. I landed a crit, and I didn't even knock him out. And then I landed another crit unnecessarily. What's going on? after a recharge, I go back to my progression, only to see another bug catcher. Whoa. That was my laptop and capture card being limited. As well as that, I got a notification from OneDrive on my computer while I was recording at about that point, and I think that might have screwed it up a little bit as well. You might as well use the Pokemon you want to level up the most of your bunch against Metapods and Kakunas, since they can only use Harden. Like it matters. There's another bug catcher. These guys are so lame. Alright, let's see what we got now. At least that one didn't have quick attack. Or at least it didn't use it on me. Alright, you gotta be careful about Nidoran because of the Poison Point ability. And poison types in general are just a pain in the older games. I am very much not looking forward to fighting Koga and its Muck, which is super bulky and has the move Minimize. And there aren't a lot of good psychic types you can get in the Kanto region. The best one, Alakazam, is a trade evolution, which is super inconvenient. What, am I gonna have to use a Jinx or a Mr. Mime from an in-game trade? Anyway, at level 16, Squirtle evolves into Wartortle. Same as with the other starters in their respective midforms. You can cancel an evolution by pressing B while they're trying to evolve. Though, why would you refuse an evolution, usually? In some cases, it lets Pokemon learn new moves faster. That's about it, though. Although this youngster only has one Pokemon, notice that it's a little bit of a higher level. I'm gonna take that critical hit and shove it where you got it from, mister. I think that's all the trainers in this area. No, this last is one as well. I just took a crit, so I'm gonna have to reload first. Just before the Mountain Moon Cave entrance is a Pokemon Center. Here's the dude that sells you a Magikarp. Why not? It'll save me a Pokeball later. Just as long as you know that Magikarp is completely useless, and it's a pain to level it up to evolve into a Gyarados. Luckily, I started with Squirtle, so I'll have a Blastoise later, and that'll be my main water type. A Persimberry. Kind of interesting how Fire Red and Leaf Green have the berries that debuted in Ruby and Sapphire. Even though you can't get them nearly as easily. I'm just bling around and looking for items that aren't there, just in case. That youngster's not a trainer. This lass is. She has a Jigglypuff. That's also high level, like that Spearow earlier. And as you know, Jigglypuff is notorious for this. And come on, Sing has like 55% accuracy, doesn't it? So that's just terrible. And it also has Disable. I also wasn't able to catch a wild Jigglypuff while I was doing grinding off camera. Because while I did get one low enough into the yellow, it hit me with the cute charm ability, and then it had an Oran Berry restoring it to full health, so I had to forfeit that and run. I did catch some other Pokemon. I got both of the Nidorans. Hopefully some of you can understand why I despise Jigglypuff. Not just in Super Smash Bros., she ticks me off in the real games as well. Bullet Seed, somewhat useful grass-type move. I just saw a bug catcher. I caught a Zubats. One of the most hated Pokemon of the Kanto generation. Nobody likes Zubat, and having to deal with them in caves. So, you know, I might as well catch one if I fail to knock it out at first. Unnecessary critical hits. Looks like I'll be leveling up Pikachu some more against the Kakuna. I am going through the entire cave without any repels. And like I said, I'll just skip over the wild Pokemon encounters, since this is a YouTube video. Pale Ice Heal? Eh? Now we have to deal with a Clefairy, which is also a nuisance to fight against. Seriously? You call that a double slap? What's the name of that move mistranslated as well? After a recharge at the Poke Center, we continue onward. There's a potion. That's a bit inconvenient. I can keep going at him. I can keep going at it. Rare candy, very nice. Always use those wisely. Another bug catcher. I'm about sick of these guys. Because they're so predictable. And it doesn't help that the metapods and cocooners are completely useless. Escape rope. That can be useful if you feel like you're lost in a cave. Not convenient at all. Alright, that's not gonna do much for you there. Unnecessary quits. She has opposites. I was thinking about what a youngster might send out at me. Called it. And then he has a Zubat, which should be good for Pikachu to go up against. Unnecessary critical hits. Up there we have a hiker. Hikers usually use rock types. This will be easy because it's a quad weakness. Looks like I'll be leveling up here. make short work of this guy and move on. That fight would have been a nightmare at best if Sturdy works the way it does in all the current games, Gen 5 and onward. Anyway, there's a moonstone. The chamber I'm going at is the very chamber you need to do in order to progress. I'll show you what's in the other ones we saw earlier afterward. There's a revive. We got Team Rocket causing trouble here. Let's teach it some manners. Yeah, you're cool, coming out with a Rattata with quick attack. At least with this one, I'm at a type advantage. Awesome. Bite. Fantastic. I have a dark type move now. Tail Whip or Withdraw? Which one should I lose? I'll go with that. That'll be good for Psychic and Ghost types. I caught a Geodude. Alright, here's an unavoidable one. More Rattata. Alright. Here's another Pokemon you can get in this area. Paris. On rare occasions, you can find a Clefairy also, though I didn't catch one. Like Jigglypuff, Clefairy can be a bit annoying. Here's the nerd with the fossils. I definitely made the wrong move by starting with Mankey, because he doesn't have any, normal or steel types. He has poison. A problem which poison types are resistant to fighting moves. And Grimer is also really bulky. Obviously not, and obviously so. Gotta hate poison types. And Wartortle shouldn't fight that anyway. At least I can use Karate Chop on this one. Level up. From there, you have your choice of one of the fossils. Before that, though, Wartortle got poisoned, and I am not losing him here. The one on the right is the Helix fossil, and the one on the left is the Dome fossil. Miguel gets Lord Helix. Whichever one you didn't pick will turn up as a exhibit in the Fuchsia Zoo, so you can at least see the Pokemon for the Pokédex, though you cannot obtain it. Wow. Hilarious how there was an antidote right there. Alright, before I go on, let's see what's in the other downwards ladders that were in here earlier. There's the move Thief, which can be useful for stealing wild Pokemon's hold items. That was unfortunately chosen. That's not going to do much on a fighting type, mister. And then we got an Ekans. Unnecessary crits. Can't fool me that easily. And here's what's in the other one. At least I can take this one out quickly. Let's see what goes over here. Star piece, which you can sell for some money if needed. Alright, let's progress. The black belts you see here teach you the respective moves of Mega Punch and Mega Kick, if you're interested. I wouldn't recommend them because they're normal types and have a chance of missing, if I remember right. So, now this is urgent. Once you progress into Cerulean City, you cannot go back to the previous locations at all until you beat the gym and get access to the hidden move cut at the SSN. So, make sure you're prepared. On top of that, if you go north of Cerulean City, you have to battle your rival. So there's like one patch of grass where you can do any further grinding. I'm in a bit of a hurry, and I'm not going to talk to every single person in Cerulean City during this video. Though I am pretty sure that there are some items someone will give you that I might be missing. I also remember that there's an in-game trade for a Polyworld to get a Jinx, and that there is a person that tells you about the effects of each of the gym badges. If I'm missing any important people in this city, I'll report about it in the next part, where we do Vermillion City. While I was grinding, I leveled up Pidgey, and now it's going to evolve into a Pidgeotto. It takes quite a while for it to evolve than you would think at first, so, yeah. I caught Neckens as well. After grinding for a bit, we're going to face our rival up ahead. How the freak do you have a level 17 Pidgeotto? It evolves at level 18, as we saw. Oh no, you're not down in my accuracy. I'm gonna take that critical hit and shove it where you got it. Alright, now you know how I said that I have a dark type move now? That'll make Abra easy. Not to mention, in trainer battles, it seems to only know teleport, even. So, you know, and teleport's completely useless in trainer battles. I see you haven't evolved your starter yet. Which, looking at the level, begs the question, why not? It should evolve at level 16, wow, a crit, and it's level 18. Why are you withholding its evolution? So, you have an underleveled Pidgeotto and an overleveled Bulbasaur, or whatever a starter would be in your playthrough, depending on yours. Yeah, you're cool, as a rival. I always knew you had flaws. And then he gives you an item called the Fame Checker, which saves words spoken by people you interact with about important people of the region. The house in the side you see there leads to Vermillion City. You cannot go there until you meet Bill at the end of this route here. First of all, you have to cross this Nugget Bridge. And as a bug catcher goes, he's completely lame as well. Around this level, Pikachu learns Slam, which I refuse, because Slam is like the worst move in the game in my opinion. It's a normal type, and it has a really high chance of missing, so... I need that Thunderbolt severely. It doesn't learn it until 5 levels from here later, so I had to do a lot of grinding. I did it, it was just, bit of a pain. Unnecessary crits. Unnecessary crits. Alright, there's you out of the way. easy. That is not. Gotta be careful with these ones. Yeah, so manky. Alright, so after you beat them all, this guy stops you to give you your prize, which is a nugget. A useless item that can be sold for a lot of money. And then he begs for you to join Team Rocket, which you automatically refuse. And then you have to fight him. And of course, he starts with an Ekans. Hate this Pokemon. Even lands a crits. Well, at least I can use Pikachu on Zubat. Take him down a little quicker. Yeah, I think I'll pass. Attracts. Right. We have a lot of trainers we gotta face here. Some of them can be avoided. Some hikers have a Machop instead of a rock type. Or a pushover. clearly see there's another hiker down here. I'll gladly take him on. He has an Onyx. Also not that scary with a good water type. Then we have some youngsters. Which means we have to put up with this garbage again. Your turn, Pikachu. Unnecessary critical hits. I'm not decent, I'm fantastic. Alright, you're next. A Slowpoke, huh? While that might be weak against Bite, a Dark-type move, still managed to outlive it. He lands a crit, and he confuses. Unacceptable, both of those. Sure. Alright, moving on. Got a hiker. He should be easy. Yeah, that's a real good name. Unnecessary crits. And then he has him a chop. If you let this guy walk up to you, you can get the technical machine behind him without using cuts. The only problem are his Pokemon. He has a Rattata and an Ekans. And as you know, Ekans was kind of taking me off during this recording. Alright. See now. While doing some grinding, I caught an Oddish. In Leaf Green, you get Bellsprout instead of Oddish. Another Ekans! There's one more unavoidable. That's not good. Alright, so, with that, we can meet Bill, just in here. You have to help him with a little accident he had. So we're just gonna interface with this. And there you go. So this is Bill, the manager of the Pokemon storage system in the Kanto region. After you help him, he gives you an SS ticket, which you're gonna need. And from here, the police officer blocking that house will move so that you can go south into Vermillion City, even before fighting Misty, technically. It might be useful if you want to have some more places to do grinding, since Misty is one of the hardest gym leaders in the series. There's still one more trainer I have to fight. And just like the youngster you saw earlier, he has a Rattata. And an Ekans. Just get lost. Those people are just there. Well, I can at least take on the trainers in this gym. I find it super interesting that they had to change the Speedos worn by the male swimmers in the Gen 4 games in the shorts, yet they kept them in the Gen 3 games. There we go with an unnecessary crit. And there's another trainer besides the gym leader. Yeah. Alright, that's not acceptable. My, do I need Pikachu to learn Thunderbolts? I do extensive grinding to get it up 4 more levels. Until it finally does. And after that, I take on the Gen Leader. So here I am. If you started off with Charmander, Misty is going to be a nightmare at best to fight against. Considering that there aren't many Pokemon that can stand a chance against her Starmie. I took the patient route, and I leveled Pikachu up until he finally learned Thunderbolt, and that helped. Take this. I mean, Wartortle can kind of work since it can learn Bite. And Ivysaur might be decent to use as well without, like, a Pikachu. So, yeah. This is Water Pulse, which I ought to teach to my Wartortle. It'll be a useful move later. With the Cascade Badge, traded Pokemon up to level 30 will obey you in battle. Now, the disobeying Pokemon only applies to outsiders, like traded Pokemon. All Pokemon you catch yourself will always obey you regardless of level. And in this place right here, there is a hidden rare candy. And that's where I'll leave off at until the next episode. consider subscribing or at least checking out my channel if you like any of the franchises listed here, because I do plan to talk about them a lot and want to continue doing so for my channel. I am a hobbyist artist that makes fan art of a bunch of different game characters and franchises I like, and will occasionally come out with let's plays of mostly retro games I feel like are worth playing for sport on my channel. I have quite a lot in mind, so consider checking me out if you are interested. Stay tuned in a matter of days for the next part of this very Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green Let's Play. I am Crolister, Master of Ponage. Thanks for watching, stay tuned for more vids, and I will see you guys very soon.